All right, grasshoppers. It's Thursday, 10 o'clock. All across the universes. Had a really interesting conversation with a fellow alumni, Ranger alumni yesterday. He got through a real transformation. Be careful, I'm not going to use his name because he told me some stuff yesterday. It was pretty, like he's turned into a little bit of a psychic. And not a very good way. So a very interesting conversation yesterday. Again, we continue with our little project where we, if we have spare time, we get on the phone, go through the phone book, contact list, and call up people that haven't spoken to in a while. Actually, that's when we had Sheldon Surrey, who was on our most recent Full Change podcast that you can find on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and comment, particularly on Apple if you can. William Haynes, how are you? You magical veteran, you trained conductor. Lorraine, how are you? Magical person. Ronnie Jameson, up in beautiful Buffalo. Oh, I've perfected my chicken wings a little bit. I went to work and I was getting lazy with my chicken wings, just using the frozen ones from Costco. So we're getting some more fresh chicken wings. Putting a little flour in there, season them up nice. Gets nice and crisp. One of the keys to the chicken wings too is you got to really make sure they're dry to get them get nice and crispy. Yes. Sitting on a train. All right, brother. It's going to be quite the life. It's an interesting life for being a train conductor, right? Just something different. So again, calling up people. So had some really interesting conversations. It led to some business opportunities, just calling up people from the past, and also some personal stuff too. Double fry. Well, we don't fry. And I agree. That's probably the more tasty way. I agree with you. But we do ours in the air fryer. So Susan Brooks, how are you? Magical person. Wow. Okay. So Fairy Hawk Tom. Fairy Hawk. It's not a lot of traveling. Yeah. Okay. So the attempted Trouba elbow. Wow. I'll tell you what, I love that. If I was on his team, see, that's the difference between the Rangers this year and the Rangers last year. They just didn't have, they're so far, just whatever's going on with them, gone now. But they've gone the other way now, where it's like Trouba's a savage out there. I love that. It's one of those ones like, people say, oh, geez, it was dirty. Darn right it was dirty. Ever watch Mark Messier in some of his old videos when he played and how many Stanley Cups he won? He had laid some elbows. One of the one like Mike Madonna where he knocked him out and then he dropped him, carrying him on into the ambulance. So yes, I love the Trouba hit. If I was on Trouba's team and he did that, I would come in the dressing room and say, that's our leader. That's our captain. I will follow him anywhere. In fact, like that's the kind of penalty. If you're a penalty killer, when he does something like that, if he gets a penalty, you go out there and you make sure you kill the penalty in that one. That's excellent. Now, because the other team's all like, oh God, who are we playing? These bunch of savages here. Make sure they keep their heads up. So I love that hit. Trouba. Good man. Oh God, he's a good captain. I like he leads by example, right? I don't know how he seems like he's a kind of a quiet guy, not a guy who get up and make a lot of speeches. I saw an interview with somebody, I can't remember, was it Trocheck maybe, and talking about how Jonathan Quick got up and spoke at some point. Was it during the overtime, that last overtime game? And I didn't understand he was like that. And again, we had Luc Robitaille on, who's president of the LA Kings, when I think for the whole time, or most of the time when Quick was there with the Kings, and he said he's the best leader he's ever seen, or one of the best leaders he's ever seen. And it really surprised me. And I don't know if that's why they got him. He's also still a great goaltender. But to have a guy like that that's won 2 Stanley Cups, who can stand up in the locker room in a tight game like that, an overtime game in the playoffs, it's important to win. Yes, Danny Erickson. Let me see. Yes, I do keep Rempe in the lineup. Yeah, because you know what? He's a player too. I think he doesn't hurt you at all. He's only getting like 4 or 5 minutes or something. But he gets such a deep lineup of forwards too. It's not nobody's fault that he doesn't get any more minutes. But let's say the game gets out of hand one way or the other, and you want to have him. If you get up, I don't level. Let's see, that kind of coach sent a message. You saw it last night in Boston game, Boston and Florida, where Florida got up. That was a weird series so far. I know it's only 2 games. Boston wins big. First game with 5-1, and then Florida won 6-1 last night. And then I like the Chook a lot, but going after Pasternak, I didn't see how it started. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe I don't think Pasternak started it, but they were getting on Tkachuk because he punched him when he was down. It said like the code. You go back and look at some of these old fights. There's no code. Maybe once in a while a guy would stop, but guys, some of the old fights, guys were killing each other. there's no. I hear this code thing all the time, and it's like I don't really think there was a code. I was watching some 80s YouTube fights of Kotze, and he was tough, but it seems he played less physical and Hartford and Toronto. Kutcher was tough. Kutcher's a good player too. You know what? Like he really, again, going back and watching his whole games, he moved the puck well. He had a big time shot. Smart, physical player, tough. He was a good player, really good. Big role for our teams that he was here. Just when Herb came, that he just was not Herb's kind of guy at all. It just wasn't unmatched. What do you do as coach if one of your main stars gets hurt in a fight? Yeah. That's a fact. Especially a guy that doesn't fight like Pasternak. That's why, Tkachuk's the star player for them too, though. So it's a two-way street. But I would not be happy about it. But at the same time, it is hockey. It's a playoff hockey. Games out of hand. It happens in playoff hockey. They say they're sending a message. I don't know if it sends much of a message. It's more, okay, here's the chance to get some cheap shots in. Now, game doesn't matter. I think that's more the point. Was Tracy in the building? Oh my goodness! Because Tracy was in the building. Didn't know that. Very tough, not dirty. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I love the way the Rangers are playing. I'll tell you what, Carolina's a good team too. I mean, the Rangers deserve to win both games. But if Carolina had won both games, you wouldn't have been surprised. Even the first one, the 2 or 3 posts they had. Okay. Yeah, but she won't get on the screen though. She won't be known. Make herself known to the public, to the masses, until at least 20 minutes, right? Or 15 minutes, that's right. Although last time she strung it out longer. But again, now because I was taught her tricks. Yeah, Rangers look good. I'm saying, I'll fight you anytime. Yeah, no kidding. D'Angelo's a little punk. What a jerkwad. He's the kind of guy I wouldn't want to play with. And he wasn't even dressing the last part of the year. I mean, that's the thing about him. He was a good defenseman too, but he got so wrapped up in all this other stuff. Like the stories I heard was that he was getting online when he's here with the Rangers and threatening the fans and saying he'd meet him outside in the parking lot outside Madison Square Garden. Like, what? God, what an idiot. Yeah, he does it. He knows the camera's there. And Connor Miller's not a fighter. Yeah, but you're right. He won't do the Trouba or Rempe or those guys yipping at certain Cleveland players. I hated that too. Some guys were like that. Even Ken Linsman, as much as he was the rat, he did it with everybody. I got to give him credit. He didn't pick spots. He was a jerk with everybody. I told you we played in that alumni game that he played in. And I got to know him. He's a great guy. Really, really good guy. I know the guys that play with him with the alumni, like Frank Simonetti that runs the alumni, says he's a fantastic guy. His reputation is terrible. But then he got hurt in the game. It was a back-to-back. Played up in Boston, played back here in New York against Madison Square Garden. And he got hurt at the game at the Garden. Everybody was like, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. You were joking because it's an alumni game. You don't want to get hurt. But yeah, is it Pesce? Sure. Yeah, Pesce's a good defenseman. He's a local guy here too, isn't he? From Terrytown or something, Pesce? Yeah. That's the sad thing. You see that stuff happen to a guy who's a good player and then he gets caught up in all this other nonsense. And he, could have had a much better career, especially like a teammate like that. You're like, God, you're a good player. You could help us win. Like, knock off the nonsense. It's like your boy PK Subban. I love how he's talking about how, toughness and, playing the right way and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right. Mr. Slewfoot. Some of the most selfish guy that's ever played the game. PK. He's good. I tell you what, he's doing a good job on TV, though. I must give him credit. I don't like that kind of style, but he and Biz Nasty here, they know what they're doing. They're great marketers. Like Biz Nasty's all over the Ranger fans. He knows what he's doing. He could care less who he cheers for. He just wants to stir the pot. He knows the Rangers got a huge and loyal fan base, so it's good to stir the pot with them. He's good. I got to give him credit. Both those guys. Kevin Weeks is like that. There's a guy who in Dallas, I think he's still doing stuff. Former goalie Daryl Ray, like really colorful guys. These other guys are great too. Like Brad Boucher is a good friend of mine. Very smooth. He's more the smooth kind of guy. These guys are loud. Like they know what they're doing. They people coming in, they want to see what they're going to do next. Like PK wearing all this fancy clothes and all that kind of stuff. So, what's this show where you have to pay $10 to see you? Is that what it is? People pay $10 to see me throw the ball? So I'm throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game. I think it's a professional game tomorrow at Staten Island. I'll post it again. Oh, by the way, we will not have a show tomorrow at 2:00. I don't know what's going to happen to the show. Molly's been busy with her stuff. So yes, throwing out the first pitch. So I was at my son's last weekend telling him that. So we had some tennis balls there. The Maverick, my dog, my grand dog, was playing with. So I tried throwing the tennis balls. That's embarrassing. I haven't thrown a ball in months, years since I threw a ball. So my shoulder fell apart. So my decision was, okay, do I practice a lot? But then my shoulder get messed up, or do I just say, no, that's screwed. I'm just going to hold off and let it rip. I'll probably throw my shoulder out. God, I hate getting older. God, sakes. $10. Ken R., how you doing there, brother? Jessica Danahy, how are you? Magical creature. Where is she? Right here. Yeah, you're right, Ron. See, that's a bit. I can't get off the mound. I got to stay on the mound. What is it, 60 feet or 60 feet, 5 inches, 60 feet, 6 inches or something? Oh, God. Yeah, I don't want to, if I get off the mound and get closer, that's embarrassing. For a Rangers tire, $10. So the discount to get in if you wear Ranger stuff. There you go. There we go. Michael Jenks, how are you? Good to see you. Nice hat. That's a nice hat there. Nice fedora. Is that a fedora? Is that what they call that? Tom's like Satchel Paige. Yeah. Satchel Paige in the grave. I used to be pretty good, a decent baseball player. That'll be interesting. We'll get that videoed. Fresh will be on. I have to give her. I saw an elderly nun actually was up on the mound. She did the whole thing where she popped the ball up near off her bicep before she threw it, like really cocky. It was pretty good. And then she threw a strike too, right for the mound. It's in New Jersey. I posted it on my Facebook. It's in Staten Island tomorrow. Let me look it up here if I can find it where it is. I'll get it. Susan will get it. Susan Brooks knows where it is. Let me see. Yeah, sometimes you have to open up the windows in the engine. The smell gets real bad, especially after a few pulls of chili. I can imagine. Yeah, the heat and everything. I know. Yeah, pressure will be on. Pressure will be on. No question. I got to get that over the plate. If I bounce it in, oh man. All right, let me ask you a question. Stormy Daniels. First of all, I wonder what her real name is. It can't be Stormy. Her parents would call her Stormy. And that's a pure stripper name right there. Okay, so Trump, has he acknowledged that he had an affair with her or sex with her or whatever you want to call it? Because now they got her up on the stage. What's up on the stage now? What's she for more witness testimony? What's she testifying to? And why now? Why now? Yeah. Stormy Daniels. So again, that's not a real name. So you're sitting there, you're becoming a stripper. You say, okay, I need to figure out a name for myself. Stormy. I call myself Stormy. Now I wonder where that came from. Is there some reason she called herself Stormy? And okay, here, hold on here. Go Rangers. Yes, Stephanie, absolutely. Okay, so is Trump acknowledged that he had an affair with this woman? And if he did, then what goes on with the wife there? What's her name? Melanie? She's garbage. William Haynes. Who's that? Stormy? It's odd. Yeah. Good morning, Thomas and the gang. Carla, how are you doing? We haven't heard from you in a long time. Long time. Oh, runs faster than he skates. Oh, no, that's not the case. Oh, funny. Kelly Sullivan is a disgrace. He lectured Rempe after. I know, yeah. What's it all about? Yeah, that's. You got to treat every player out there the same way. You lectured after I stopped and splashed Henderson. That's not real. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, he's clearly like he's thinking, I'm gonna help this kid. Just show him how he's. No, let the coaches coach the kid. You referee the game. No, Trump hasn't. Trump hasn't denied. So he's denied. Okay. Nice job. More hungry, money hungry. Oh yeah. Meetings during your show. You gotta get rid of all the meetings when the show's on from 10 to 11 on Thursday morning, Carla. Jeez, Melania. Wasn't she some kind of somebody called her a call girl, something like that when she was younger. That's when Trump met her. Interesting choices. A lot of women in the world. There's been a few NHL players that have gotten married to strippers. Interesting. Everybody does their own thing, right? People change. Or maybe they didn't want them to change. I don't know. What else is going on in the world? I'm really big now into, it's not conspiracy theories, okay? It's not. Just talking to more people about, stuff's going on, like this cloud seeding. So I wonder how much of, they have these these tornadoes and all this kind of stuff happen. I wonder how much they can control, or they know they can control with this cloud seeding. Let me see. Yeah, in Henry's, you could have been Thunder Laidlaw. There you go. Yes, Thunder Laidlaw. Bring down the thunder. See what PK. What did he say there a couple weeks ago? He said, "What if I know is I carry around a big hammer." Then somebody came back to him about a week later and said, making comments like referring to his junk. And he said, "What are you guys talking about? I wasn't talking about my junk. I was talking about I carry a hammer around. I do a lot of woodwork." Well, yeah, I love the country. I'm a patriot. I'm just starting to believe now. People call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe this. I think it's just big money owns the country. All these big BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Rockefellers. They make all decisions. It matters at all. I guess the only advantage of Trump is that he's got his own money. You can't buy him. Buy all these other jerkwads. But and that's on both sides. So, but we got to live our lives, eh? Vegas odds have Rangers a big underdog tonight. Is that right? Wow. Well, I'm going to go with the Rangers in 5 games. I don't know if we made our predictions. I'm going to go with the Rangers in 5 games. I think they're all going to be. They could all be overtime games, and all those games can go either way too. I just think one of the biggest advantages the Rangers have is their goaltending. Shesterkin obviously is in that now. Even if something happened to him, still got Quick there, who can still play at a pretty high level, really high level. So I just think Shesterkin makes the difference. Like Carolina's got a good team. I love the way they play. But what'd she get for salary? I heard it was bad. I didn't see what it was, but she is a fiend mom, right? She's making, and now I guess read that now the WNBA players are flying around in private jets now because of her. Well, I agree with you, Danny. Sweep would be even better, but Carolina's a good team. Working on the railroads for as you know when this economy is bad, judging by car numbers currently they're the lowest. Oh, well, that's interesting. Wow. We didn't have a shot of going to play for the first time. Oh. Yeah, that's going to be a shame, right? I just don't think that team's good enough to. I mean, they got McDavid and Draisaitl, but it's just. Again, I've told the story before. We did a thing. Kevin Allen did it in USA Today. We picked 6 guys, and I was one of them, to be GMs of certain teams. They're the original 6 teams, and so I was obviously GM of the Rangers. And Doug McLean, who had been in Columbus. He was putting together, I don't know, he was doing Montreal or something, and he took McDavid before he was even drafted, saying, as long as I've got McDavid, we'll win every year. That's why Doug McLean's not a GM anymore. You just know the game, you can't just have like that star player. It's not like basketball or something. You have that star player and you're going to win. Although you watch the Knicks right now, man, they're a fun team too. They work hard. It's not about star players. Although what's the guy's name? There you go. Would Trump have an answer? Yeah. Oh, if he did it to one of our teammates, yeah. So again, we've talked about this, like this whole thing with big hits now, where the other team feels like they need to avenge their teammate right away. They ultimately take the 2-minute penalty. You're far better off to, like, if Trouba had done that, go yap at him. Say, okay, we're going to get you this, especially in a playoff series. Now we got to play the same guys every game. Say, okay, we're going to get you. May not be today. It'll be next game, maybe game after that. We're going to get you. In the meantime, we're going to run all your star players. We're going to run your goaltender, which they did. I love the way the Rangers responded when that guy, whoever it was, ran into the goaltender, Shesterkin. They came after their goaltender. That's how you do it. You don't, leave the guy alone that did the dirty hit. Go to this and say it to the bench. So, okay, now we're coming after your skill players now. Now you started it, and we'll finish it. We're going to get your goalie. We're going to get all your big scorers. And now the goal scorers that aren't fighting, aren't tough guys, are sitting there going, "What are you doing, you idiot? Now they're after me." That's the way it was in the old days, where the tough guys. Eventually, you've got to get to Trouba, but in the meantime, you make everybody else pay. Even if you don't get them, now they're wondering all the time too. Yeah, Shesterkin is unbelievable. When he plays his game, man, he's so. What I like too. It's not like he's flopping around like it's the end of the world. He's making the save. It's under control for the most part. I mean, obviously, he has to make a bigger save. He does, but so when you're a defenseman back there, you think, okay, we're fine. Yes, he's making big saves, but he's doing his job. That's the way the game's got to be. Again, going back and watching old games that I played, like Steve Baker in my rookie year. I forgot how good he was. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but just under control. And there's a lot of plays too I saw where we as defensemen and goalies where it's really important. There's a good communication. So if it's a 2-on-1, and if I say I'm out there, it's 2-on-1. It's really a 2-on-2. Goaltender's got to do his job, but the defenseman, he has to trust the defenseman. The defenseman's not going to let the pass come across the ice, and then he can step out and play the shooter. And now he can cut the angles down more. But that's got to be trust. He's got to trust. He's got to say to himself, "Listen, I'm going to do my job. I got to trust that Laidlaw's going to do his job. If Laidlaw doesn't do his job, puck goes in the net. It's on him, and it is. It's really a 2-on-2. Same thing when you're killing penalties in your own zone. It was really a 5-on-5 if you're a man short. It's not a 5-on-4 really. It's a 5-on-5. That goalie's got to do his job. You got to make sure he's got the room to do his job. Clear out the front of the net. Don't let him get screened. Let's see here. Eva Cinevera, grain traffic from Central USA heads to Vancouver and then shipped to China. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. China can't do their own grain. Let me see. Yeah, he's hot. I like that he gets into it like that. He was like that last year in New Jersey series too. The rest of the guys were kind of flat, and he was yelling at the bench to get going. I like that. And he, he doesn't do it all the time. That's the only knock I would have against Henrik. He was a fantastic player, spokesperson. He'd get on his team a little too much, and it was like in public too. Like there's times, plenty of stuff happens in the locker room, but in front of the fans, you really want to control that. But that seems a competitor too. Right? So. Biden removed tariffs on cheap garbage, Chinese steel, basically killing the U.S. steel industry. Unless coal trains some mills. Oh well. Yes, they make some. Well, we know why they make decisions, politicians, so they can make money, and all the people that pay for their campaigns make money. These decisions are made for us, where they want us fat, obese, diabetic, out of shape, taking all their medications, listening to their news channels, eating at McDonald's. She's new for bootleg hockey. Is that right, eh? Well, bootleg hockey jerseys. Bootleg. Why do they call it bootleg? Who thought of that? I wasn't talking. Oh, you were. I'm sorry, William. Yeah, you were. Yeah, we are. Yeah, I don't like talking politics. I don't like talking like, okay, Democrats are better than Republicans. Republicans are better than Democrats. I think it's all crap. But all right, so the Rangers play tonight. It's 7:30. Again, tomorrow night, I'm in Staten Island. I'll list it again. Susan, you probably know where it is. They did fire Sheldon Keefe. Oh, man. No surprise there. And a lot of people I think it's more speculation for the fan that it's Craig Berube coming in because they feel like he's so much different than Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe was like too nice a guy, and Craig Berube will come in. But Craig Berube, he was a tough player. And yes, he could be demanding for his players, but he seemed like a really fair coach. That it wasn't just all yelling and screaming, because he's got some problems there. I think like that. Matthews apparently there's nothing wrong with Matthews. He just missed 2 games because he had a sore stomach. I mean, this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. When you get Patrice Bergeron playing punctured lung and broken ribs and some of the other stuff guys have played with from the past, and you're playing in Toronto when you're supposedly the franchise player. Yes, it's on my Facebook page. All right, that's right. Thanks, Sheldon, Susan. It's on your Facebook there. But Fairy Hawks. I guess that's a minor league baseball team, correct? Bootleg comes from hiding your liquor on the top of your boot. Oh, very cool. It's interesting how these names or these words come from, right? Like bootlegging. Bootlegging. So it's so things that's made over in other countries, we call that bootlegging. But that's right. Wasn't that the thing like bootlegging? In the old days with the booze or the whiskey or whatever they brewed up. Well, there you go. See, that's the thing I do. I would trade Matthews. I just think that team has got it's too much a bunch of pretty boys. They should not have signed Tavares. Not that I don't like Tavares, but that's too much of the same thing in that team. You get so much for, but here's the thing. You got to change. You got to say, okay, we're changing the makeup of this team. The locker room, the way we approach things, like those 3 guys whining at each other on the bench. You got to know you play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but this is any place in the National Hockey League. But it's a playoff game. You guys are the 3-star players, and you're yapping each other on the bench, whining. It's pretty easy to see what's going on. That's a bad luck. If you want to duke it out, if you want in the locker room behind closed doors, you do it. But and it's just indicative to me of how that team's made up. It's just so much whining. And then when Matthews didn't play after that, he missed the rest of the game and then missed 2 games. And from what I understand, I didn't see that he got listed as being hurt. It was just it's playoff games. And then when they won both games, I think it says something with his teammates feel about him too. but let's go win without him. Yeah, I would. It's a big move. It's Toronto, and you're going to take a lot of heat, and you may take a lot of heat for a while because he's going to go someplace else and be a great player. And it's always going to be those comparisons between the guys you get and what he's done in his career. And he may go someplace else and win, but it'd have to be a team that has a stronger locker room. Is it, everybody speculate because he was from Arizona, they'd go back to Arizona. Obviously, that's not happening now. So, well, but you know what, though? The problem down with today's game is with these guys making so much money, like those three guys making so much money, there's only so much Craig Berube can do. Those guys decide that they want to be whiny brats. It's hard to change that. That's why you really got to make a decision. What are we doing with this team? Can we win? Because I don't believe they can win with that team the way they're made up. So changing the coach is nice. That's first step. They need to do that. But the makeup of that team's wrong. And you can look at Brett Treliving, I think, knows what he's doing. He's the GM there now. Kyle Dubas, he just, to me, seems like a really intelligent guy and everything too. But I just don't think he knows what it takes to win in the National Hockey League. So. Yeah, that's the thing. So you trade Matthews, and you get so much. You got to make sure you get a haul for him too. And here's the thing: you can't just dip your toe in the water and say, okay, well maybe we'll trade him. We'll see what we can get for him. Because once you start that process, it's going to get public, especially in Toronto. Teams do not keep their mouth shut. You can say to the GM, please don't say anything. He's not gonna do it. In fact, if it's a team in your division, he'll want you. He'll spread it on purpose, so that it look bad for the team and hurt the team. So it's, again, once you start the process, you make the determination you're going to trade a player like Matthews, then you got to do it. You got to shop around, see what the best price you can get. And some of these guys lately, these GMs have been doing things like this. Hey, this is what I want. Well, don't tell anybody else what you want. Say to everybody, okay, what will you give me for Matthews? And get into a bidding war. Especially you get 2 or 3 teams in one division that don't want to play against them. They'll go over and above to make sure they get him. So Treliving knows all this. He's been around long enough. So I would definitely do that. So it'd be interesting. Who would be? I believe he almost positive he's got a no move contract, no move in his contract. So he's got to prove. Sometimes players have a thing where there's 10 teams that you don't want to go to, or there's 10 teams that I will go to. Some are just outright no move, so you got to go to them. But for a player, if it gets out that he's going to get traded, then he doesn't want to stay there. Especially in Toronto. And I would think with Toronto, it's a great place to play, great city. But I'm telling you, it's tough. Especially they haven't had playoff success. And everybody's going to be pointing the finger at him. He's one of the guys that are going to point the finger to. If they can, if there's a good young goaltender out there or good young defenseman, they really got to, shore that up. It's tough with goaltenders. So Rangers have been lucky, good drafting, but also lucky in some ways. Let me see. The Islanders were down, but no fingers were pointed after they lost in 79. Yeah, different situation though, right? I agree with you, Danny, but it's not Toronto. I think I think the organization really felt like too they were on the rise, and then look at a lot of teams like Tampa before they won their cups, losing in the first round of Columbus. So a lot of teams go through that where they're moving up, and then all of a sudden they'll fall back down again, and they learn from that. And obviously the Islanders did that, unfortunately for us. Let's see, rumor in Chicago they will send number 2 pick at least for him. So the number 2 pick for Matthews, I would say it would have to be more than that. Just that he's an established player. It'll be a tough one. Because again, you in Chicago, so their number 2 pick is next year. That should still be a fairly high pick too, or is it a guaranteed number? But that's the thing. It's not a number 2 overall. It's some number 2 pick at least for him. So the Chicago's number 2 pick. I mean, we don't know that they're kind of confused now a little bit. So their second pick, well, that wouldn't be enough. I mean, you don't trade. I don't think you trade Matthews, a player like that, unless you're getting the top pick of the team. And the draft picks are a tough thing too. Like, what if Chicago has a decent year, and then you don't pick until 10th? So now you've traded away Matthews, who was a first overall pick, I believe, right? Yeah. And now he's a state almost scored 70 goals this past year. I mean, that's going to be the thing that you're going to have to get a lot for him. But the team's getting him is getting a lot as well. It's just some GM is going to do it, but they got to be careful because I don't think he's much of a team player. That's my opinion. But very first automobile. Tucky DeVito is here. What's happening? It means that they should have learned a lesson. And by the way they're playing, it sure seems that they did learn a lesson last year. I don't know. I still didn't know. People talked about how Gallant was really hard on Panarin. And Panarin had 2 playoff years when Gallant was here, where Panarin didn't do a whole lot. Now he's playing really well, playing aggressive too. So, but again, it shouldn't be that way. I don't know Panarin, but the player, it shouldn't matter who the coach is. If he's getting all the ice time he needed, he should have. There's lots of coaches that are jerks. And I don't know if Gallant was a jerk. It'd be hard on people. Yeah. So again, you can't just get a whole bunch of third line guys either from Matthews. It's got to be like a young player that has potential to be a star player, but is probably 2, 3, 4 years away from being that player. Again, you got to look at the needs too. It's goaltending, defenseman. Will be better in small market team. I don't think it matters with them. Women chicken. I think the issue with them is they just don't seem like the real character players. Not where people say, well, the winning goal that Pasternak scored, Martin should have picked him up. It's not that he should have picked him up. He should have been aware. He seemed like he was out there in an overtime game, just not aware of what's going on. It's Stanley Cup playoffs. And whoever scores next goes on. It's the 7th game. And to me, and that was typical with Marner. Really skilled guy who's got the puck on a stick and everything, but just the overall game, the understanding of how to win and how to be a team player. I just don't see that with either one of those guys, Matthews or Marner. But I just think you'd get so much more. I think you'd get more if you trade Matthews. And then now you're still stuck with Marner. So the problem is then, though, again, the culture in that team has to change. Let me see. Thomas Straightfall. Yeah. He's almost dead, though. He's so old. Okay. How's everybody feeling about Mika now? One of the best trades ever. Oh, Zibanejad? Oh, no kidding. And I liked Brassard at the time, too. He was a good player. But he wasn't a star player, but he was good. Good penalty killer, face-off guy and everything. Yeah, but and listen, a great trade, but there's a certain amount of luck when you do a trade like that, too, because Mika has developed now far beyond where I think even Jeff Gordon made that trade, I think. Jeff Gordon, I think, was a brilliant hockey guy, too. But I don't think if you really asked Jeff Gordon, to be honest, he didn't think that Mika was going to be that good in the way he is now. But that's, I got to have that. Maybe he did. Maybe he saw something in him and he thought he would be that good. So, great for Keen's hockey. Yeah, you know what? I think Keenan's a jerk, but it never, I look back now at Herb Brooks, and I didn't realize what a jerk he was to people. One of the biggest, we're doing taping our 100th episode of Full Change podcast. And one of the biggest things of all the 100 shows we've done, one of the biggest surprises to me was Mike Allison came on, and I say this publicly because he said it publicly, and acknowledged that he was contemplating suicide because of Herb. I guess, and he acknowledged that maybe he was a little sensitive to stuff. And I think back to some of the stuff that Herb did. For my career, he was fantastic. But some of the stuff he did, like shooting the puck in my head, and kicking me in the rear end on the bench, and that's I guess I just didn't pay attention. I was getting played, so I could do what you wanted to. I could care less. Yes. How come the players Rangers played well in the postseason? Say to be on the bench. He was irrelevant. It was the players. That's the thing. I think I saw Phil Simms on a Sunday football show. I think. Maybe it was the morning show, whatever. He said that coaching in football is more important than culture. I think the opposite in hockey. I think the culture is more important than the coaching. We had a great bunch of good team guys. Will Paymon, we played against Philly, and Will Paymon, I think Brian McClellan stood up and beat somebody up in Philly. It just changed the whole thing. Listen, I'm not saying Sater didn't, all coaches are the same way. Coaches get too much blame when the team loses and too much credit when the team loses. Too much blame when they lose, too much credit when they win. Yeah, okay, got that. Tricky there. But again, the coach still has to, prepare the team, get them ready physically, conditioning and all that kind of stuff, and put the right people on the ice at the right time. But the players have to go play far more in hockey than other sports, I believe. So, similarly, like Herb Brooks, like I said, he's a good coach, but so Craig Patrick was not even a coach really. But my first year in the league, we went to the semifinals with him, and he built a good culture. And it was the players. Like I look back at that team, and just some of the guys like Wayne Dean Talvis, Doogie, the way he was playing. And I'm talking both ends of the ice too. Mike Allison, Eddie Johnstone, Don Maloney. And we had a bunch of guys who were just great team players and just grinded out, never quit. Jerry Gillis, those kind of guys that maybe look at and go, oh, he really wasn't that good. Well, yeah, he was. He was good for the role he played on the team. And again, great team guys. We just never quit. I watched the one LA game 2. We got down 3-1. We came back. We got down 4-2. We came back. Could have won the game too. Part of it was we're just dead tired. We were playing with 3 defensemen at the end. But I got to tell you, it's not. And again, so that team, the Rangers, the 80-81, and the 83-84 team, the one we lost in the first round to the Islanders, those are the 2 best teams I played on with the Rangers. Obviously, I played in LA and Gretzky was there, so it's a little different there. But yeah, those. I look back and watch those old games, the way we played. Oh man, I love being on those teams. Again, we just played like such a team and never quitting, just sticking to our game. Guys fighting everybody, coming through, making big plays. Anders Hedberg and Ulf Nielsen weren't 2 physical players, but Ulf's getting in fights. He shouldn't have been, but he was like, it just showed how much he wanted to win. So that was a good team. Yeah. The penalty things again. What kind of penalties are you taking? Like taking tripping penalties and hooking penalties and slashing penalties. Don't take those. If you're gonna run somebody through the boards, you take a charging penalty, but you've made them pay a price. Okay, you don't want that all the time, but now you say the rest of the team has got to say that's what the rest of the team's got to say. Okay, we'll kill that off, right? Our captain, especially like Trouba, what he tried to do there with the elbow, I loved it. Oh man, that's me on the other team, and you watch him doing that. Let me see. Oh my God. Thankfully, I was in the building because I had been home. And it's getting, I know. So if anybody didn't see that, ESPN late in the game, Ranger game, somebody pushed the wrong button or whatever. They went to the Dallas game, and I was watching what's going on, and they flipped back with like 30 seconds or something. But it's right at the end of the game. 2 people losing their mind. Yeah, the 81-82, that was a good team. Yeah, I don't think Herb and Craig had got it to where they wanted to get it to yet. So that's why I say the 83-84 team. But yeah, the 81-82 team is great too. Yeah, that team is tough. 80-81, my favorite. Sorry. Here. Where are we going here? 81-2 is toughest team. They could have been, man. But you know what it was too? It wasn't just tough, like physically fighting. It was mentally too. We would never, like you can see we weren't playing well. Like in game 3, when we came back against LA at the Garden, we weren't playing well early. We turned the puck over and everything. And Bubba grabs the puck in our zone, goes 100 miles an hour, gets to the blue line, slap shot, bam. Just goes right by Lassard, the goaltender. Like that's the kind of stuff that we would do. Barry would do it. Somebody else would do it. It's just we had a tough mental team too. Like we would not quit. We wouldn't stop playing our game no matter what. If anything, we had too much respect for the Islanders. We played in the semifinals. That's the only bad part. Looking back at that, we didn't play the same way. We played hard and all that kind of stuff. I think in the back of my mind, just thinking these guys had just won the Stanley Cup the year before. So, yeah, I know. And I feel bad too. I mean, obviously, I was not equipped at all. Like I didn't. Who else was telling me? Was it Dave Maloney? Said he went in the shower one time and found Mike in the shower, curled up in a ball in the corner, crying. And we weren't. To be honest with you, if Mike had come to me, we were really good friends. We started our careers together. If he'd come to me and told me we felt that way, I wouldn't have known what to do. I'm not proud of saying that. It's just I'm not like now. I think I've learned much more about mental health and everything. But back then, it was like I would have cared, but I wouldn't have known what to do. Kevin Klein was on did our podcast too, and he was incredible. He talked about how he had his issues, and he would sometimes before games come into the locker room and trainers and go in the trainers room, and sometimes he'd be with like 2 or 3 of his teammates. I think Derek Stepan, I think, was one of the guys, and he would start crying, breaking down in front of the guys, which I thought was amazing because that would not have happened before. No guys would have done that, and the other guys wouldn't have known what to do. They probably would have been like. Unfortunately, we would have thought, there's something wrong with this guy. And we really would have looked at him like he was weaker. And again, that's totally wrong. I'm not trying to say it's the right way to look at it at all, but that's the way we were back then. We just were not educated about mental health at all. Nobody ever talked about their mental health. So, But it's interesting doing all these shows now too. Sheldon Surrey, we did the show of him. He was the same way, talking about his feelings and he's a big, tough, good-looking guy. Talking about going in, for rehab. He's back, yeah. You guys did respect them too. Oh yeah, way too much. The Islanders, yes, we were way too respectful of them. I tell you, it really wasn't until probably the 83, 84 team that we really got over that too. I mean, that team really believed we could win. I'm not saying we didn't believe we could win in those other years. It's just that, when we lost, we were like, darn Islanders. When we lost, Kenny Morrow scored the winning goal. It's more like, oh man, we should have won that. We really believed that we should have won that series. But again, you got to give them a lot of credit. They knew how to win. We had game 4 at Madison Square Garden. We should have won that game. That would have been the series right there. And then game 5 was, man, that was an incredible game to be a part of. Yeah, I did notice that. I feel bad for that, Emily Kaplan. People have been really critical of her too. I don't know what other people think. That's a tough job for anybody. I mean, the buildings are going crazy, and you're trying to think of the right questions to ask. All right, Mr. Haynes, you have a fantastic day. You magical veteran conductor, you. It's also easy to overlook a really funny personality. I did not know. Yeah, no kidding. And Mike was that too. Man, he was a funny guy. Oh man, was he funny? I will never forget some of the stuff like when he got on a roll too. Like he just was hilarious. I know I've told the story, but so James Patrick wanted to be called James. He's a fun guy, great person, but it's very strict. He's James. So we were at the pub there having a few beers one night, and Mike got into the whole thing calling him. There's a camper store in Fort Francis where Mike was from. It's called Big Jim Sports Campers. So he started calling James Big Jim, and it wasn't just one little thing. It was not like an hour. It must have been like Big Jim Sports. When you get going, you've had a few beers, we're laughing, and oh God, crying, laughing. He tries to claim that I was stirring the pot. I don't remember it that way. I was more one of the rare times where I was sitting back watching some. Yeah, Robin Williams. Yeah. Yes, I have seen fortunately a few videos on reels on Instagram and Facebook where family members posted videos of somebody who had taken their own life and videos from maybe like a day before, and they're laughing and joking and having fun. So, yeah, you never know what people are going through behind the scenes. Like that's what I said. I was really shocked. Like I was getting a little emotional when Mike said that because again we were so close, and I was clueless. I just didn't have any, I really believe like today because I've learned more about mental health that I'd be more aware, be able to help him more. But and I don't think Herb even knew that he was doing it. But looking back, that's the thing. I've got so many great memories of Herb Brooks, of what he did for my career. Although I don't look at him the same way I looked at Mike Keenan or Mike Babcock or Ken Hitchcock. It was interesting. I was really glad we had Ken Hitchcock on, so it got me an opportunity. I've been very critical of him publicly, so give me an opportunity to talk to him and be honest. Say, listen, Hitch, I can't remember how I phrased it, but I said, I've been very critical of you. And I'm sure it's not the first time he heard somebody being critical, but he had rationale for doing it. And then having on Craig Ludwig, who's part of Hitchcock's leadership team there in Dallas. And it seemed like Ludwig really understood what Hitchcock was doing, and didn't always like it, but understood it was with a purpose. It wasn't just being some jerk. He was doing it for a reason. He said he wanted to create chaos on the bench. I don't know if that's his way of looking at it now. But there's a lot of guys who are very critical of him. Mike Allison seemed to be most enthused. Yes, hard worker, great team player. I was so fortunate I got to play with him here in New York and then again in LA. And man, he was a team player. Man, he would do whatever. Good face-offs, blocking shots, stick his nose in there. Like he kind of got to go to the net and get pulling at him and everything. He's fighting his way to the net, trying to score goals. He just wouldn't quit. Yeah, he was very he was critical. So we had him on the podcast too. He said that he didn't have the career that he thought he should have. I think part of the problem was that he started off. Phil Esposito retired. So Mike's first year, which is my first year, Phil Esposito, the centerman, retired halfway through the year. Kachuk lost his eye or hurt his eye, couldn't play anymore. Alfie got hurt. So Mike became the number one centerman. So he's playing with all the big guys and ended up getting like 30-some goals, I think, in his rookie year. So I think the expectation was that that's the kind of player he was going to be all the time. And I just don't really – he was still a fantastic player, but I just don't think he was that big of a goal scorer. He was a very good defensive player, which is still fantastic. We needed that. So Yeah, he was one of the. If I look back at all the guys I played with, he was one of the most fun guys. There's a lot of guys too, like great team players, and James Patrick. I look at James Patrick too when he came in. That was that year we lost to the Islanders, Kenny Morris. That was James' first year. Man, he played well for a rookie defenseman. We were a team together, and I was watching him play. It was like he was that guy skating 100 miles an hour. So it was great. I'd give him the puck and let him go, stay back. So yes, yeah, the whole feeling things. I'll tell you what, that whole the mental health thing. Again, that's been one of the biggest surprises and biggest things I've learned through all the podcasts, the Full Change podcast. Is like, how can the guys more? And now as the podcast gone on, we've gotten more away from talking about hockey. We still talk about hockey, but it's more about the guys' mental health after the game, the things they've been through. And it's pretty much unanimous with most guys, not all of them, but most of them, where they all say the same thing. Listen, playing in the NHL was a dream come true. It was an honor, privilege, all those things. And you wouldn't change a thing if you do it all over again. But the thing we didn't anticipate is that, we're living this kind of artificial life. And then all of a sudden now you retire 35 years old. And, you think you really believe all the stuff that people tell you, how great you are. And you realize, well, I guess in some ways you're set back, right? Because now you got to, understand, okay, now we're in the real world. Now your marriage is affected, the financial things. But it's, again, we wouldn't change it. But all right, everybody. So tomorrow, again, we will not be doing the 2:00 show with Molly and Mark. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that show. Molly took on a new role, so her time is limited. But Mark and I will still be on. So again, then I'm in Staten Island tomorrow night. And again, I'll post it. It's on my Facebook page where that is. Throwing out the first pitch. Pressure's on. I'm not getting off the mound. After I saw, and it's weird because I just saw a video of this that elderly nun, and she bounces. She does the whole bounce the ball off her bicep thing, and she's got the big smile going. She just threw a strike too. God, pressure. Okay, so no Tracy. Somebody said that they spotted Tracy. Yeah, it's a good point. I heard someone. I have seen some funny videos where the cameramen too. They're off to the side a little bit, but they're trying to get close up. There's one woman, I think she was a singer or something. She threw it. It was not even close. Hit the guy right in the woo. The ballpark's right off the ferry. Oh, cool. Nice. Very cool. The other thing is Staten Island is a little bit difficult to drive to, but no problem. Fun. Maybe we'll go really get dinner out there someplace. Again, that is posted on my Facebook page. Yeah, I know. Get right through. Maybe I'll just close my eyes and just let it rip. Tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to want to throw so hard because I don't want to look bad. I'm going to screw up my shoulder again. So I'd separated my shoulder when I was in college. So that was so it was 1978 or something like that. And the doctor told me to put this cloth tape in there. This is up in Marquette, Michigan. This is the same doctor that used to stitch us up that used to smell like booze all the time too. So my shoulder's been fine, never bothered me since. And then I was walking down a hill this past winter, and it was really wet snow. Feet go flying out from underneath me. I go to put my elbow down to protect myself, and shoulder popped up, and it's sore ever since. I should go to the doctor. Man, I'm not going to the doctor. Got all bruised up and everything too. So I was with my son. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I got this thing. I throw the first pitch." I said, "I haven't thrown a ball in like 20 years. I threw the tennis ball a few times, and my arm was going to fall apart." You know what? I appreciate, Carly, you saying that it's a certain thing. So if I, like, even sitting here doing podcasts, if I put my arm up on the armrest for a long period of time, then it's worse. It's like when it hangs down, it's better. So I don't know what it is. Suck it up. Live with it. As long as I get the ball over the plate, that's all that matters. So baseball will be easier to throw than a tennis ball, right? Tennis ball is too light. It's embarrassing. I wasn't even getting it to my son. And of course, now he had to stand up and drill it as hard as he could at me, the old man couldn't do it. Where a sling. So I mean, for the first pitch, well, why would I? Hold on one second. Let's clarify this. Where's Sling taken off for the throw? Blame the injury. Oh, I see what you mean. I got you. I didn't see blame the injury. Thank you. No, we can't do that. We cannot. No, cannot blame it on injury. You cannot let anybody know that you're hurt, no matter what. Oh God. As I told you, we were in Brooklyn. They had me climb up on top of the fire truck a couple weeks ago. Really nice young girl, too. I guess I was struggling a little bit to get up the truck, and she goes to help me. I go, and I was nice to her. I wasn't mean. I said, I know you're trying to help me, but please, the male ego is in play here right now. I need to get up here by myself. And she understood, so she was fine. Yes, I'll make sure it's taped. Even if it'd be funny. I can handle it. Even if it's funny if I do a bad pitch, we're posting it either way, good or bad. It's going up there. Give everybody an opportunity to carve into me. Fine tire in the ball. So what is it? I think it's a AAA league or something, right? Is that what this is? Then own it when you hit someone in the stands. I don't think the ball's going to be going up in the stands. The concern is more getting it to the plate. Oh gosh, I mean, it's throwing the tennis ball, and I really thought I was throwing it hard too. Couldn't get it to the plate. Couldn't get it to my son. He wasn't the 60 feet apart that the mound is. I can't remember last time I was on a professional baseball field. Years ago, we were at Shea Stadium. We played the Islanders in a charity game. Clark Gilly stood up to. He's a pretty good baseball player, and pounded it over the fence too. Man, independent league. Is that what it is? Okay, very cool. So, so the book is done, by the way. Deb is traveling. She's someplace, can't remember where she is. So we got everything's done. So we should be able to get it downloaded onto Amazon maybe tomorrow or first thing next week. So it's pretty cool too. So if we got it the way we want it, if somebody else catches some mistakes or something, we can go back in and change it too. Because when you get to Amazon, maybe you guys know this, I didn't. They don't print the book until somebody orders it. So you order it, it's printed and shipped all from Amazon. So pretty cool process. Let me see. It held to get old. It's held to get old. I hate even saying those words, Christine. I hear you. I know you're not saying it, but man, ready for Christmas 27. Oh, Carla's making a dig here too. She's taking over Susan's role. Yes. Yeah, they played together too, didn't they? I didn't realize this. Yeah. Bob Orr's a good athlete, man. He skate. We were roommates there for 1 year in LA. Oh, we were at the end of our career. We had a lot of fun. That's right. Yes. What did we bet? Was it $5 or something? What did we bet? Can't remember. I'll get Susan to film me throwing out the first pitches. Susan, you gonna be there on Friday night? That'd be cool. Susan works. I wonder how many people. Probably get thousands of people coming to watch me throw the first pitch, right? No, you're gonna be ordering one, Carla. What are you talking about? Send the book. You order one. Come on, I'll sign it for you. Carla works at the Greenwich Library. She had me go in there and speak there about using technology for fitness. Actually, I wish I'd done it again. Maybe I'll do it again for you if you want. But because I've found some new apps, or there's that Yucca app I use a lot, YUKA, and it gives you a score on the healthiness of foods by scanning the barcode. But yeah, that's right, Peter. She's right. I think she said she's going to buy $20 if she lost that bet. Tony Delaco. How long before we can see it in the autobiography area of Barnes and Noble? It's just going to be on. I should say maybe it gets to Barnes and Noble. It's just going to be on Amazon right now. It's a really easy way to do it. You don't have to put up any money up front to get the books printed or anything. And we'll promote it ourselves. We'll have book signings. Is that what our bet was? $10? Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll do a book signing in Long Island. Absolutely. I really liked it. Was a fun town I went to. Was the hockey crew there was Great Neck. Seemed like a lot of Asian people living there. Like the Asian people, very friendly. People who get them as a gift. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the book. I hadn't read from cover to cover in a while, and now we got it done. I went back and read it. I was very happy. Like it was, the goal was to make it so it was very like education, about discipline and fighting through things. And I tell you, like it really. I know it sounds weird me watching all these old games, but it's hilarious watching how many mistakes I made, and how I guess I'd always been used to making mistakes, and it's my life too. I keep making mistakes all the time. I just don't even. I don't even worry about it anymore. I just okay. I'm going to make mistakes. You know what's going to happen. Just keep on going straight ahead, and that's like I said, playing. This like that game 2 was just a great game for us. We had the brawl and everything, and guys are making great plays. Dave Maloney's making great plays and everything. My play is I go in and run over the goaltender and do scores and rebound. Like, that's just the way my life is. There's nothing smooth about it. So let me see here. By Carla. Babylon. Yeah, we may go to Babylon. We'll see. We have a few book signings. Jersey Shore. Yeah, I can do that. I like the Jersey Shore. Do some fist pumping down there. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, everybody. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Again, we will not be doing the show tomorrow at 2:00, so everybody knows. But I'll be in Staten Island tomorrow for 6:30. This is the first pitch. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Again, 988 hotline for mental health and suicide prevention. Let's make sure everybody's taking care of each other. There's the shoulder check mentality. Again, that thing, just reaching out to other people. It was interesting. At a discussion table, Mike Allison, what a fun-loving guy he was. I just didn't realize he contemplated suicide. So it isn't just the person, and then we're talking about this, it isn't just the person that you see is like, looks like down and out. Just everybody, and just, especially nowadays, there's so much of this mental health stuff going on. It's not nearly talked about as much as it should be. But we all help each other as much as we can. Everybody, let's have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next Monday. Actually, maybe we won't on Monday. Yes, we will on Monday. Mark and I will be having the show at 11 o'clock on Monday. So everybody have a fantastic weekend.